Hello again, everybody. This is John and Glenn with BestPriceNutrition.com. Today we're going to talk about Allmax Nutrition AllWhey. We had some questions about it. We've reviewed whey proteins before, and some of it is somewhat redundant from brand to brand sometimes. A really popular protein that we sell is the Allmax Isoflex. That's the pure cross-flow microfiltration whey protein isolate. But why don't you give a real quick breakdown of what it means? Sometimes people, they'll read labels and they'll see all these different adjectives describing whey protein. Let's give a quick breakdown on what the different forms of whey protein are that you're going to see.
Yeah, there's generally three. There's whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, and whey protein hydrolysate. To start with the basic whey protein concentrate, it's whey protein still bonded to carbohydrates and fat. It still has some fat and carbohydrates.
It's already bonded, it's just they've concentrated it, so they
here,
haven't filtered it all out.
Yeah, they haven't filtered it out. And then you get to whey protein isolate, which has the carbs and fat removed. Then you go to hydrolysate, which is they take the isolate and they further break it down into peptide chains. Could be anywhere from 2 on up to 8 amino acid peptides, but it also could break it down into single amino acids. So those are generally your big three. A lot of times when you're looking for a protein supplement, you'd want to go for one with a higher isolate count because it's got the fat and carbs blended out of it.
Yeah, with isolates, within isolates there's actually different types. You have ion exchange, which means they're exploiting the charges to separate the whey from fat and lactose. That's really what the goal is to get the fat and lactose out of the whey, because that naturally occurs, and we just want the protein. So when you concentrate it, as Glenn said, some of that gets left over, so if you really have this that's sensitive to lactose, then you'd probably want to steer clear of those. Whereas when they isolate it, it's typically done at a lower temperature, especially cross-flow microfiltrations. It's done with ceramic filters, and they're able to preserve more of the protein. The tertiary structure doesn't get denatured. So that's usually why you're going to see, that is why you're going to see more cost involved when you're looking at a whey protein isolate. And then you mentioned the hydrolysate. You're seeing more of those now. I know Optimum's making one. They are, like you said, breaking it into smaller pieces, so sometimes you could pre-digest it is another way. But kind of the secret, or dirty little secret, if you will, with hydrolysates is the degree of hydrolysis.
Yeah, there's no way to ensure how much of a degree there is. It could break it down into a chain of 8 amino acids or break it down into a single amino acid, and then you're left with an amino acid that's not peptide bonded, and your body likes peptide bonded amino acids.
And you're still going to have some of the full oligopeptides in there too. You can't hydrolyze it all the way down because then it gets too bitter. The percentages are going to vary from each raw material to each one. And you just can't break it all the way down and say, hey, we're going to give you all di and tripeptides, which would be 2 and 3 amino acid chains, which would be great. It'd be ideal, but there's always going to be a residue. The residue being oligopeptides, greater than the 3, or the free-form amino acids that we mentioned. And also with whey, when you hydrolyze it, you're getting rid of the microfractions, which is one of the great selling points of whey.
Yeah, there's a lot of microfractions within whey protein that are very good for your immune system, and there's extensive research done on them. So when you hydrolyze it, you do remove those.
So whey may not be the best protein to hydrolyze. People just think, well, I'll just take it, I'll hydrolyze it, and it'll absorb fast. Well, whey absorbs pretty fast already, so I don't know if that is as beneficial as
there's not much of an issue with whey protein not absorbing.
It's fine. Yeah, the one that I've seen that's been really successful is a casein hydrolysate, specifically PeptiPro. Casein, we always think, oh, that absorbs slow, but then you can take it and make it absorb even faster. That's di and tripeptide bonded to a greater degree because they have a system where they're actually cutting casein at the same amino acid each time. We believe it's proline. Then they come in with an endoprotease to grab some of the residue. So it's about as pure as you're going to get in terms of di and tripeptides. So that may be something to look at. But today we're focused on whey, and specifically AllWhey, which is a blended protein for them. Not blended in the sense that it's whey, egg, casein. It's all whey, but different kinds of whey. You want to run through those real quick?
Yeah, the ingredients are, it starts with a tri-stage whey protein matrix. That's microfiltered whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, and then hydrolyzed ultrafiltered whey protein isolate. And followed by low molecular weight whey peptides, which is just, again, hydrolyzed whey protein.
Yep.
And then you go into, they have some flavorings, and they have an omega EFA blend, which is a cold-pressed flaxseed oil powder, borage oil, and then there's some enzymes, digestol lactase, bromelain, protease, and then your sweeteners. Now, it's not sweetened with aspartame. There's ACE-K, or acesulfame potassium, and sucralose. Going back to the the omega EFA, flaxseed oil powder, and borage oil. A lot of times that's added to these products because it makes it taste better. It gives it more creamy texture, a little more of like a milkshake texture to it, which does add some flavoring.
And let's be honest too, it's cheaper and it helps fill the serving. I mean, that's the truth too. Now this one's not notorious like muscle milk where they're selling you on how great the fat is. No, they're selling you on that because it makes the product a lot cheaper, because when you fill it up with this much protein and the rest fat, it makes it much more cheaper. That's the truth. And as he said, it makes it taste really good.
And there's only 2 grams of fat.
Yeah, this one's low, so don't
low.
Misinterpret me please on that. That's what I'm saying here. It's pretty low here, so it's not what I would consider like a bad offender of that practice of doing things. As you mentioned, there's lactase in here. Obviously, they know there's whey protein content, so they figure, well, let's throw some lactase in there, which is the enzyme that breaks down lactose. Bromelain, that's just a protein digestive enzyme. You'll see it sometimes in anti-inflammatory products too. It helps reduce inflammation, and that's usually from pineapple or papaya. If you actually go to like a Brazilian restaurant or something, it's a very protein-rich diet, so they'll give you papaya or something as a dessert to help you digest the food. So that's common. Now, if we were to compare this to Isoflex, what would you say?
Well, it's a little bit higher calories because it does have some fat and lactose, and it's I think it's the same protein content, 25 grams per scoop. So
serving size is a little different.
Yeah, serving size is a little different because this
the percent protein is going to be a little bit lower on this.
I think the percentage is 77% in this AllWhey, because it has some fat and lactose.
And I think a couple of the flavors, Isoflex, are 90, which is about as high as you're going to get, so that's really good. That's one of the biggest things. So you're comparing pricing. Sometimes people are like, well, this one costs.
Yeah.
This is more economical.
More economical, yeah, because it's not all whey isolate like John was explaining. It costs a little bit more to filter out those the lactose and fat, so it will be a little more expensive. So this is more economical, more of a good daily protein source.
Yeah, a lot of people, if your money's a concern, and you want to be a little bit more budget friendly, then you can use something like this. Or some people use both and they say, well, I'll just mix them together, or I'll use one part of the day, another part of the day. That's another question we get, is when to take it. Yeah, a lot of people take whey post-workout, but you can take it at other times of the day too. That's
Between
fine.
meals is fine. However much you're going to need to reach your daily protein goal.
Yeah.
Generally.
If you're eating a lot of whole food protein too, then you don't need as much from a supplement. Supplements are just that, they supplement what you don't get in your diet. So, for most people that's about 2 protein shakes a day.
Yeah.
And then people will say, well, can I take it at night because I want something that slow absorbs? Yeah, that's fine, just mix it in milk. I mean, that'll slow down the absorption too, or you can buy a casein powder and, mix it in, or just go with a blended protein altogether. Because fats also slow down the absorption of your protein, so that's something else to consider. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
Okay. Well, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to post them. Also, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/BestPriceNutrition. Thank you.